everybody. It's Andy Goodman with Goodman Properties. Wow, what's going on with the National Association of Realtors lawsuit and settlement? This has been big news. I know, being a part of the real estate agents, different websites and chats, there's a various amount of concern there because it represents massive changes to the way that agents will be communicating their value. So today we're going to kind of unpack what that looks like from the consumer's point of view, because there's been so much discussion on the agent side. This is for the prospective sellers and buyers. How is the relationship with the real estate community? What is it going to look differently for you? Let me just first start by saying, number one, things are still kind of up in the air. So anything that I say is subject to be sorted out, and there's nothing that's necessarily going to take hold as far as change in business practices till mid-July. At Goodman Properties, we're already trying to get ahead of things, and we'll explain how we're doing that at the end of the video. So let me first start by backtracking just a little bit so you understand what typically the way the commission structure works from a consumer point of view. If you're a seller's agent, your job would be primarily to help market the house through your marketing systems. That includes staging and everything involved with that. Your job is also to price counsel, pick the right price so it's attractive to as many potential buyers. And then your other responsibility is to negotiate the best possible price and terms for your client. The sellers typically would offer a commission, and that commission would have a percentage built in to attract a buyer to the table through a buyer's agent. And that commission would be advertised through the MLS as compensation for a buyer's agent. Why would they do that? Well, on the seller's side, your job is pricing, negotiation, marketing. And marketing means reaching a vast amount of people. And the vast amount of people in the real estate world are the buyers. And buyers have relationships with agents. So when you're offering to compensate buyers' agents, what you're doing is you're basically immobilizing this big pool of fish. And it's critical to the transaction because, the more value your house has is dictated by the interest. And that interest is created by the buyer's agents that bring the buyers to the table. Now, what the lawsuit is saying is that now the seller's agent cannot advertise that they're paying a buyer's agent. Doesn't mean they can't pay them. It just means it's not going to be necessarily upfront in the same manner that it has been in the past. So the buyer's agent, their responsibility has changed, because in the past, even though our job is to have substantive conversations up front with our clients and explain how we get paid. Unfortunately, there's so many real estate agents that, and they were assured on some level that they were going to get paid based on the percentage being advertised, that they have not explained to the level that they should as how they get compensated. And what the lawsuit's kind of forcing, we believe in a good way, is to make sure these conversations are being had up front. It may not ultimately change the economy of the transaction. It's just going to change the value proposition, the communication, and I believe this is ultimately what the best benefit's going to be for the consumer. So, keep in mind there's so much negotiation flying around, and costs flying around in a typical transaction. The big picture should be always for the buyer is, did I find the right house? Did I get the best terms? Did I get the best possible price? What's the financing look like? That stuff traditionally will bear out over time. And that's what our job is as buyers agents, is to make sure those things happen. How we get paid is part of it too, right? So the way that I see the benefit is to the buyer is, now we're going to have the conversation is going to be forced for everybody. For those of us that have been already having the conversation, it's kind of business as usual. But I think there's a big opportunity here. And let me explain this. I believe that if the consumer is more hyper-focused than before on the buyer agent being compensated, I think that opportunity for us as real estate agents is to kind of fine-tune a menu of services that walks different options in front of buyers, because not all buyers have the same needs, desires, and most importantly, timelines. We've had a lot of buyers come from out of town that want to do a 3-day look and see X amount of properties, and then maybe come back to town and make a decision. We have a option in our menu of services that has a compensation for that, which gets credited to the bottom line should they go forward with a house, similar to what like an attorney would do with a retainer. And that type of approach moving forward is we believe is going to be a favorable approach, because the buyer's going to know what they're getting, and they can make the choice. If they feel the representation and opportunity to work with us as a real estate company brings that value to the table, it's going to be an easy decision for them. And what's nice is we'll be able to compensate through different options so that they can pay exactly for what they want and for how much service they're using. And then our goal would be to wash it into the transaction based on how willing the seller's agent communicates that they're willing to work with us. So if this is done correctly, buyers are going to have an advantage that, but the advantage is only as good as the questions that the buyers ask. So I think it's important that you circle back when you work with an agent and just don't have somebody open doors for the sake of opening doors. Sit down with them, understand what the scope of service is, understand the value of their negotiation skills, understand what their value of the marketplace is, and then customize a approach so you feel as a buyer that you're getting a real partner in this and the outcome that you want. So it's an exciting time for a buyer, and it's also a scary time. And I think that I know that the upfront conversation is something that once that happens, you can keep the focus where it needs to be, and that's finding the right home for the right price and terms for your family. If you have any questions about the new landscape and how all this works, please reach out. We're also willing to share our menu of services. So if you are thinking about buying a home now, in the future, and the next few years, whenever that is, you have options now to dip your toe in the water, which we would welcome to show you what those options are. So thanks for joining us today. Stay tuned. We're going to try and keep you informed as things progress. And like we like to say, Goodman Properties, your best move. Thanks for joining us.